Hello, beautiful people. Oh man, I just finished watching the Monique interview with the Breakfast Club. Very tricky situation. See, I talked about this on the podcast. I think episode 47. That you get what you negotiate. And I was very critical of Monique. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that her husband, at the time, this was a couple weeks ago, back in January, I didn't realize that her husband was her manager. So when that came into play, I was like, maybe that has something to do with, the offer she was getting. And I was like, what the fuck have you done lately that I have seen? And I was very critical of her. Like, I don't think Amy Schumer's funny, personally. But Amy Schumer got like 50 million fans worldwide, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, listen, I know I didn't buy a ticket, but other people would. I wouldn't buy a ticket for Monique. So the proof is in the pudding. I would buy a ticket for Dave Chappelle. I would obviously go see Chris Rock. So at the time I was very critical. So when this interview started, it started off very condescending with the hugs and, hey, you can stand up and show me some love. She said to Angela Yee, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. But after giving her some time and listening to her husband, who was actually very cool, calm and cool and collected, and he got his words out very well to make me understand, like, oh shit, you right. Like, I've been mind fucked to think like, Monique's just difficult. She ain't been done around lately. Like, I'm like, damn, like I got caught up in the wave. Like, I feel like, if I knew her, I would personally apologize. Like, it's crazy that she brought up some good points, like, that we're sometimes we treat, and let me just clarify also, I did feel like, nah, Monique, don't use racial bias and gender bias in this situation. This is about you. But now, after letting her and her husband explain, well, mostly the husband, she was kind of condescending, but that's another story. Now, I know that almost contradicts my point, but just hear me out. After letting her husband explain situations, I'm like, damn, it's crazy that let's not pretend America's not racist, you know what I'm saying? And if you do put that black ball over you with these corporations, they can lowball you. And it was her comment that said, when she said, I'm the most decorated comedian alive, I'm like, come on, my G, like that's a little bit of a stretch. That you can't do that. So it kind of, it altered my point of view hearing that. I'm like, I can no longer act like, I can't ignore that. That would be ridiculous. And it's crazy that she brought this up, because sometimes I look at like what the Republicans do, and I don't want to get into politics, but I look at what the Republicans do for Trump, and I'm like, y'all gonna act like you don't see this? And then when I was hearing Monique, I'm like, damn, this is why these corporations are so strong, because they stick together and they turn a blind eye to the bullshit sometimes. And I feel like as black people, sometimes we fail to have each other's back. Or I can't speak for everybody, I'll just speak for me. I fail to have some people's back because I don't turn a blind eye to the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I gotta sit on this interview for a while. But it definitely did change things. And I read the comments under the Breakfast Club interview on YouTube, and I feel like it flipped my point of view for now until I could really digest it. But other people, I see them going harder at her, and I'm like, damn, you gotta really listen, because I was critical. If you go back and listen to the episode, I was very critical of her. But after hearing it, I'm like, wow, and I'm not gonna say her sexual assault claim was a false equivalency between the directors with Harvey Weinstein and everything. I'm not going to say I thought it was a little far-fetched hearing it, but after it's like, damn, it is kind of the same concept when it's like, who the fuck are you going to tell? What you going to do? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It was very interesting, and I'm gonna go back into it on the podcast, because I want to sit down, I want to digest it. I think I'm even going to rewatch it. You know what I mean? And I want to talk about it more on the podcast. But very enlightening interview. It was actually a great interview. I'm glad to see that her and her husband Sydney got to say their piece. That was pretty cool. But I don't know. It was definitely an eye opener. So stay tuned. It'll be out, I believe, Monday. My episode. I say this Make sure you go subscribe. Subscribe to me on YouTube too. If you like what you hear, let's talk about it. Let's be, we got to be a community together. So when we subscribe, it's not just for me, it's not for but I want to hear people's point of view. I want to hear what they have to say and feedback to me. And I think if we all work as a cohesive unit, I think we wouldn't have these misunderstandings like this. I think we attack each other, and I think we should stick together. And even as creators or whoever, on the low end or the high end, we got to stick together and kind of let it play out. Because at the end of it all, what you made a good point is that is negotiating for everybody. Because even though I want to say, fuck that, what have you done? It does have that trickle down effect. So listen, man. Well, I'll get back into it on the podcast, but it was a great interview. Shout out to the Breakfast Club. Big shout out to Monique and her husband Sydney. I'm happy that we're shedding more light on this situation, and it's not just going away. So usually things die down on social media. We go on to the next shit, but I'm happy that light is being shed. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on the podcast app. Go to kingboatchrist.com. It'll make it easier for everybody. Click on those links. I appreciate you all, and stay tuned because I got more to say about this. Have a day you deserve. I'm out.